First, let us show you a picture. Here it is. It was taken on Capitol Hill 100 years ago. These are suffragettes who were only dreaming of the day that women could vote. And so they petitioned, they hounded until they persuaded legislators to pass the 19th Amendment in 1919. Because of them, women were 53% of the electorate last November, and there are now, for the first time in history, 20% of Senate seats held by women. Women who ran hard campaigns, smart campaigns, and won.
So we gathered together the women who had won those hard-fought races and look back at pictures of themselves as children to ask what was the most important advice they were given along the way. First up, the Dean of Senate Women, Barbara Mikulski, who said, "Wake up and assume you are the person who will change the world."
Every day, if you wake up and think about someone other than yourself and say, "Good morning, can I be of help?" then you'll make a world that is better, you'll make a difference, and you'll work with others to make change.
The greatest gift in the world is the ability to help someone else.
I've always found that if someone tells you you can't do something, it's usually because they're afraid you will.
And these senators, once just kids like the rest of us, say power comes from knowing more than anyone in the room, so seize it.
When somebody tells you it's complicated, it's really not, and break it down and find the way and solve the problem.
When I sign pictures to classrooms that go across North Carolina, I add read, read, read.
My advice would be to listen more than you speak. You'll be so surprised what you can learn.
Stand up straight.
I set up my chair when you said
I would say knowledge is power. No matter what your dream is, you have a really good chance of achieving it.
And they say, remember, there are secret weapons, joy and persistence. Something Senator Amy Klobuchar says she was taught by her dad, who took her on a 1,000-mile bike trip.
I would say once you've gone 100 miles, you can always go 10 more. That's what I learned from that trip.
Don't be afraid to take on that challenge that you want and demonstrate that women are unique in how we do battle, but we can be very successful.
No matter what you are doing, what job it is, large or small, do your very, very best.
Do what you love. You will be successful, but more importantly, you'll be happy.
If you live with a grateful heart, you'll be happy and be able to serve well.
Persistence is about 95% of success.
And finally, if you're anxious, remember the big things worth doing involve risk.
I have a little saying that came from a card that somebody sent, and it says, life begins at the edge of your comfort zone.
I tell children to not be afraid to take risks.
Take risks and never give up.
I believe the world is made up of problem solvers and problem makers, and the former is really what we need more of.
Dream big and ignore the naysayers, the cynics, and the keepers of the status quo.
And so we choose the women inviting everyone else to take their place in history. And by the way, the senators have all said it's worth pointing out again, there are 20 women in the Senate today, but women were 53% of the voters in the last election.